I'm Emily Baird, and I'll be talking about synaptic communication. Synaptic communication is basically communication between two synapses of a neuron. This entire thing here is a neuron. All of this there, that's a whole neuron. A neuron is basically a cell that transmits and passes chemical and electrical signals to each other. A neuron is made up of a nucleus. This is a nucleus here, the cell body, which is this entire thing right here. On the cell body there are dendrites. The dendrites are pretty much the receiving signals, so they are called postsynaptic. You travel down to this entire thing right here is the axon. Around the axon, we have these things called myelin sheaths. The myelin sheaths are basically the protection of the node of Renavier. These are these little spots right here on the axon. So the whole part of the neuron to start into action potential. The action potential starts at the axon helix, and that signal is sent down the axon into the axon terminals. These are the axon terminals. Now I'm going to shift from talking about the neuron and the axon terminals to talking about the action potential, which travels down the axon. So as the action potential starts, it starts at the resting potential, which is down here. The resting potential is about at negative 70 millivolts. It goes up. This part right here is called the depolarization. The depolarization goes up. It's between negative 60 and positive 30 millivolts. The negative feedback starts here, and the sodium channels, which are on the depolarization side, close, and then the potassium channels over here on the repolarization side open. This causes the repolarization to fall quickly. It falls so quickly that it goes into hyperpolarization, which is also called the overshoot. The hyperpolarization is usually between about negative 90 and negative 95 millivolts until it can boot itself back up really quickly because it realizes that it has fallen too far, and it goes back into action, back into the action potential to start the resting point. So then we transfer over to back over here. Once the action potential reaches the end of the neuron, which are called the axon terminals, once it reaches up here, this here is called the presynaptic cleft or presynaptic area. This is the presynaptic area. The voltage-gated calcium channels are right here. They allow the calcium into the cell, which starts the neurotransmitters. After the calcium is transmitted into the neurotransmitter vesicles, exocytosis begins. This releases the contents into the neurotransmitters, and it goes into the synaptic cleft. The synaptic cleft is this area right here. So as the neurotransmitters are traveling from the presynaptic area to the postsynaptic area, we have in between the postsynaptic cleft. Once they reach the postsynaptic cleft, the elongated ion channels then bind and open up to receive the sodium. The sodium rushes into the cell or the postsynaptic membrane, and that creates the action potential, and the sodium rushes over to this area and creates the action potential all over again. As I said before, these dendrites up here are the postsynaptic area, and so this cell right here would technically be the postsynaptic area. They travel into the dendrites, and the process would begin all over again. That's postsynaptic communication. Thank you.